What's up, guys? Keith, aka Gator Guy 231, and it is crack ass early on Sunday, but here to try to break down what really does look like a difficult EPL slate. I do think that there's a lot of ways that you can go for classic. Whereas, yesterday, I think was fairly cut and dry that, we started the day out. We saw no TAA, so immediately you jump to Robertson was kind of like a free square, jumping in most of the sets. Nico Williams was playing on the right, so it was sub 5K for Liverpool fullback as the biggest favorite, so thought he made sense. And then, most people chose like Salah or Mane, assuming that Liverpool would score a lot. My core that I dropped before everything was Robertson and Sterling. I thought Sterling was a misprice. I think it was 8,100. I thought it should be 9K, 9,500. Definitely you wanted some City pieces. He didn't start the previous game, so that was pretty obvious that he was going to, probably play 90. And at least we knew he would start, right? So locked him in, 3 goals later. That looked smart. Then said, pick Salah or Mane. Did not have the wherewithal to say, go Jesus over those two. Obviously, that would have been best. And, just kind of let the rest fall in. I think I said that Nico Williams was going to be in my lineup, which he ended up being and everything. So, that was the slate. I'm going to quickly just send out what we're doing here. I would love if, we have a good amount of people in that we can do some questions and answers. So for those that do join, feel free to shoot me any sort of questions. I'll answer legitimately anything you ask in regards to DFS soccer. I'm not going to take the too literal approach here. And then we'll just kind of discuss what the hell's going to go on. We do have Spurs and Arsenal, which just always is fun as hell. So I'm looking forward to the soccer today. Give me a second. I'm going to pull up DK and also. Okay, so just like so I can actually fill some space here while I'm trying to. I'm not very good at this whole like YouTube stuff, right? Forget to alert anybody I'm doing this early, but so I put Jack Grealish on our cover, and I did that for a reason. I think he actually ends up being my first guy into my builds. I think what's going to be really, really, really important from here on out in EPL the rest of the way out is like what teams are playing for, right? So we've seen Liverpool now multiple times come out and just kind of look flat. They were a lot better actually yesterday, but we need to see what teams are playing for. So Villa is playing for their lives. Palace is not exactly a team that's going to come out on the pitch and dominate stuff. So I think that there's a really, really good chance that we see Grealish just have like a vintage Grealish game. He's I think 8,200. I'll pull up the prices in a second, but he's 8,200. I don't know. Literally, the first guy was just like, oh shit, like that is definitely going to be in my lineup. I'm just gonna tell members to join in. Okay, so I'm pulling up pricing. We're going to do classic first, and then I'll take a look at any showdowns. If you got any questions, like I said, shoot it on the side. I will gladly answer really anything that you have. So pulling up. All right, let's talk forwards first. So I think at the top of the list, like I'll start out with him and Son. So he did not start last game. But we saw when he got in, he just immediately just jumped on every corner. Lo Celso did sub out, but I think with the open value of Son, with Spurs coming off of a dreadful performance, I do feel like we have like a history of Jose games that, when there really is a ton of controversy, sometimes we see these teams step up. So I do think Son is by far the best floor forward spot play on the slate. He's pricey at 10-2, but I don't see in a cash game. And again, we're always going to try to talk from like an optimal and cash lens. This is soccer. Like you can do whatever you want online. So there's like technically not a bad play. Like if a guy scores a goal, he's in good shape, right? But our job, and I say ours, like, people that tout soccer or, try to give advice is to help you find the floors on players. So don't have to rely on the goal to make value. Like you don't want to have like just sit there, pay $9K. Jamie Vardy's gonna be a great example. I'm gonna get on there in a second, but you don't want to pay $9,800 for Jamie Vardy. Game's over. He finished with 40K in a cash game. You're like, I got absolutely slaughtered because my guy didn't score a goal. Because a guy like Jamie Vardy, there's no floor on him. There's is he going to score, and is he going to score 2, or is he going to score none? And I really do think, kind of jumping over to that Jamie Vardy is the single most important player on this slate. And, what he does / what you decide to do with him. Bournemouth, that's another team like Villa that is playing for their lives. We saw them, really look quite lively. I was going to say good, and then I decided to pull it back, but lively versus Spurs. And they need results right now. Like I'm going to pull up the table. But let's just see. But Bournemouth is in sitting at 18. Like Watford's win yesterday kind of was probably crushing for all these guys. But there's 6 points off of Watford at this point. If they don't win, they're looking at relegation. So I do think you see Bournemouth fully fired up, ready to go. I do think Vardy, though, is still a great play. I mean, this is still the same Bournemouth side that just let out 5 versus United. That anybody versus Spurs probably would have let like 2 or 3 in last week. So, again, Vardy's not going to be a core play for me. He's not going to be like first guy in by any means. And Lucas Dean gets a damn yellow card. Unbelievable. Sorry. We're also going to tilt our faces off at this game. Lucas Dean playing center back. Like, I know better. Like I saw him at right back. We knew that right back wasn't right, but an attacking player like Lucas Dean, I can't believe that he's in the back 3. Anyhow, not going to try to look at this too much. So we were talking about Leicester. So Vardy will be popular. I think in cash, I'm probably going to end up fading, which will probably decide my fate. But there's just no floor on him. I do have a question. Let's see. Tottenham, Arsenal, goalkeeper. Who gets to win? Struggling with the little game. This is Spurs versus Arsenal. I guess I can jump over there now. The last multiple matches, you had 2-2 in September, which was a phenomenal game. You had 1-1 back in March. These games, like then you had 4, EFL Cup, throw EFL Cup away, but back December 2018, Arsenal 4-2. Like I don't know if I'd go goalkeeper, to be honest with you. Oh, look at that, Bill! You fucked up cash. Join the club, man. I told you all to play Dean. I fucked up. Anyhow, oh, shocker! Thanks, buddy. But yeah. So cards number 7. I don't know if I'd play goalkeeper there. I mean, recent form, Martinez has been great, and Spurs looks lifeless. But I don't know. If I'm still on like team. If I see Mustafi, David Luiz, and Granit Xhaka in it, it's hard to be like confident in Arsenal's defense. So yeah, I don't know. For Classic, I don't know if I would go there. I think I plugged Lloris in a holder, but I'm looking forward to maybe getting off of that. But I think Giata is going to be popular versus Villa. He's like the second cheapest goalie in the slate. I don't think paying up for like Pepe Reina makes a lot of sense for cash, but hell, the more I'm thinking about like Villa avoiding relegation, how crazy they're going to come out. Maybe you could do worse, but Villa's defense has been poor. I am going to do one shot on that game, and then I'll try to go back to the Players Bowl. But Christian Benteke revenge goal that he was phenomenal at Villa for years. So, if you really want to see, and he's been in good form. He scored last week. Finally looks like he's found a place again. So if you want like a low owned goal, Christian Benteke, I like that play a lot. All right, let's go back to the forward pool. So we talked about Vardy. Nico Pepe should be back in. I don't know what his fitness is going to be like. He's been missing a few weeks. So to pay 9,200 for him, especially if you see Ceballos, and that means they'll at least split sets. I think 9,200 is steep, but playable. At that point, I'd probably try to find the 600 to get to Vardy. I think you're looking at more upside on him. Harry Kane, 8,900. God, if you can't show up versus Bournemouth, how are you going to show up against Arsenal? Oh, wait, David Luiz and Mustafi. That's how you do it. But I don't know. I saw like Pew Pew's tweet. I thought was, if you don't know who Pew Pew is, one of the top DFS soccer players, like literally like one of the original guys. But he saw the same thing I did when I watched that. Kane's just. He's so like reliant on other people. And I think, we've seen that. Like he's a great player, great finisher, phenomenal striker. But, just like any striker that's not named Messi or Ronaldo, a lot of times you need your other guys to create for you. So, he definitely got screwed by Son not being in. Son back in will help. But, no Eriksen anymore. I'm trying to think of, other creators that they've had. Moussa Dembele is a guy that, not enough people talk about how much Spurs miss. Like when you look at their midfield now versus how it was when he was there, just, they needed Ndombele to come in and be able to do the Moussa Dembele role, like staying on the ball, just being a boss in the midfield. And, Jose won't play him. So, that midfield's flat to me. I like Lo Celso, but other than that, it's very flat. Like Winks is a nice player, but doesn't do much for me. So, I say all this to say like Kane to me is a tough play. Could he show up with 3? Yeah, of course he could. It's a derby and he loves scoring versus Arsenal. But, from cash, I think it's tough. I do really like Zaha going up to 8K. I think he is fine, but I you guys have watched enough to know that I'm team Jordan Ayew. I think Ayew 7,600 is really nice. Before this last dud versus Chelsea, which whatever, like it's Chelsea. That game was open, but he didn't do much. But you had 10.1 floor versus Leicester, 11.5 floor versus Burnley. The entire team decided to take the day off versus Liverpool, then 18.8 with a goal versus Bournemouth. And that was, before the break. So Jordan Ayew 7,600, I think, is a fine cash play. I think Saka. I think Saka might give way to Pepe. Diego Rico has to start again. Cheap fullback. Well, he's not that cheap, but yeah, he's going to start again. Adam Smith, like, dude, that guy, he got crushed. I don't know what the status on Adam Smith was. Let's see if they released what his injury was. It looked brutal. He got taken off on a stretcher. Smith head will not make the match. Yeah, that's minimal. He had to be concussed, but should be Rico on the on the right. Diego Rico split sets with Junior Stanislaus. So yeah, I'm very high on Rico today. NATO giving Dean serious problem. Yeah, I'm not watching right now, but yeah, I mean, let's see. You take one of the better attacking fullbacks in the EPL, and you tell him, hey, I know you've been playing fullback the last 2 years, but can you go ahead and play in a back 3 all of a sudden? Like, whatever, Ancelotti, I hate you. I'm so glad that I didn't add any extra money to this. I think I reserved only $50 or $60 last night, and there's my donation to the soccer community because this is shitty. Anyhow, so I think I answered. You know what though? He's the worst today, but they had looked a lot better. It's just these teams in the mid-table, like Everton, they have to come back and what are they playing for? You're not going to get relegated and you're not going to make Europe. So here's whatever. Oh my God. Did Michael Keane just die? I saw the corner of my eye, but that looked like a ridiculous nutmeg. Those are the ones that you need to finish though. When you nutmeg a guy in the box, you got to finish that. Anyhow, let's go back to DFS. I should have probably turned this off so I'm not distracted. But we're at the forward position, going and obviously I'm bringing up plays. Think about these for showdown too. I'm not going to stay on here too much longer, but think about these for showdown. Laka, Nacho, Saka. I do think Saka, well, I was mentioning, Saka gives way to Pepe if Pepe's fit. If Pepe is not fit, Saka's in, and he actually was splitting corners with Ceballos, so 7,500. I guess you could do worse. Saka's a nice player. There's my my GPP YOLO goal. It's Christian Benteke revenge. You had McGoldrick. Good for you, man. I played Sander Burge over McGoldrick in Showdown. That was a smart move. This is the foreplay I kind of wanted to just quickly kind of go over is El Ghazi 5,700. I think is really, really tempting in cash. So he's not taking corners anymore, but El Ghazi is a guy that just loves running at people. Really active. Never seen a shot that he didn't think he could shoot. So, like here's the hard thing with Villa. Don't look too much at the game versus Manchester United, who is like the best team in England right now. And don't look at Liverpool, right? Even though they played well versus Liverpool, don't look at those games. And even Wolverhampton, that's a tough matchup. So you go to the Newcastle game, which is a lot more similar to what this is going to be. El Ghazi had shot on goal, shot blocked, 2 shots assisted, 4 crosses, foul drawn, interception. That makes a lot of sense for what he's producing. And that was 90K, 5,700. I could do a lot worse. And it's going to help me fit. So I think I potentially may be playing El Ghazi in cash today for Classic. Callum Wilson, if you want a GPP goal, that works. I saw a lot of sharps on him last week when he was like sub 4K, almost scored, and then Josh King's hand decided to get in the way. Speaking of Josh King, we'll still be on PKs, but 6,000, I would rather just pay 5,400 for Callum Wilson. That wraps up forward. It's tough. So I do think, just to wrap that up, Heung-min Son is the safest forward, but also you're going to pay a premium. Then decide on Vardy, and after Vardy, you need to go ahead and just kind of go down. I think Ayew in the middle, and then El Ghazi in the bottom. I think that's like your cash pool of forwards. And then obviously, if any lineup shakeups happen, you got to adjust. And here comes the plug time. That's why you join somewhere like FSI. So when it comes out, I can tell you what's going on, can tell you how the rules change, and we can make the best decisions and continue to make a ton of profit. Midfield. So Madison is out. I saw him struggling for fitness. It actually says on like the notes he's doubtful, but everything I've read is he's out. Is that Richarlison down? Because that would be cool. Stop getting distracted. Looks like it's Mina. So I did already talk this at the top, but Jack Grealish to me is the top play on the slate at 8,200. I do not know why they have him at 8,200. Probably because he struggled versus Liverpool and Man United. No shit. But 8,200 for Jack Grealish. He got some corners back last week. First guy in my lineups. He's on the cover of this live, cover of my cheat sheet, all that stuff. So Jack Grealish, lock him in. There's your free square. From there, if I scroll down again, I'm just talking cash and optimal. 15 fouls drawn today, probably. I get that you're probably saying the last couple, but he could easily draw 15 fouls versus Milojevic today. Mark Albrighton, 7K, I think will be the next decision that you need to make. So last week we saw them come out in this wingback system because Ben Chilwell is out. Ben Chilwell is out again. Does not look like they want to bring Christian Fuchs back into the mix. Poor went out for Andrew Laird, who was calling for a Fuchs season. But anyhow, Albrighton started as like a left wing back. He is going to be on all sets while he is on the pitch. And then being out wide, does give him more of a crossing forward. You just got to keep in mind, this has been like a big discussion at FSI. When you've got these very, very right-footed guys and they're on the left, all right, or, if you have a very left-footed guy that's on the right, when they hit the byline, especially as fullbacks or wingbacks, but as they hit the touch line, you have to, if they don't feel confident in their left, they actually have to cut back and then cross it to the right. And you don't see a lot of guys do this, right? All your momentum is headed towards the byline. So to stop on a dime as a defender's running into you and come back around to cross it, it's tough. So that's why it's a little more difficult. Now, Albrighton's going to cross plenty because of sets, but you have to worry about, oh shit, Mina's off, Coleman's in. So now we have 7 fullbacks playing. It feels like for Everton. Jesus, I don't know what they're going to do, but if Wolves doesn't score here, that would be a shame. So the one thing that you need me to watch out for Villa is if Horahane is in, he takes almost all of their sets. I still would love Grealish. Like I'm playing Grealish 1-1-3-4-2. Hey man, just what was it we were talking about? Kepa is worthless. They should just take Kepa off and put the gloves on one of the center backs. Like let's just see it. Like Pickford isn't that much better. So yeah, if Horahane is in, he'd be interesting at 6,800, taking all of Villa's sets. I do think Villa's going to show up today. I don't know if that's a bold call. They're actually favored by the books, but I do think that Villa is a really interesting team. 0-0-0-10. Yeah, I like it. So yeah. So Horahane, I don't think I'll play him anyways, regardless. But if you wanted to do like a Villa stack, I know PB's in here, but yeah, if you want to do a Villa stack, there you go. Lo Celso, still a little underpriced for his role. He did sub off at half, so I'm not going to pretend to know what goes on in Gio Lo Celso's head, but I would be pissed if I got subbed off at half. So maybe he shows up here, but I don't know if it's a slate that you need him versus Arsenal. Milojevic 6,400 was back on splitting corners for sure with PVA. Also will be on PKs. So 6,400, I think, is very solid for him. Be pre-break, we would have flocked to that. So Yuri Tielemans, let me give a quick drink. So this is where like these staggered start slates. Wow, staggered starts really suck. Because if you knew that Albrighton wasn't in, Yuri Tielemans would be absolutely a lot. But if Albrighton's in, Yuri Tielemans isn't going to do a lot in terms of sets or at crossing, unless Albrighton misses or when Albrighton subs, because Albrighton does normally sub. So 6,100, if Albrighton is in, is too steep. But without Albrighton, it's pretty close to a free square. So I would say it's similar to what we had to do yesterday with City. You need to plan for it. I think I'm going to go to a second. I think a great way to plan for it is maybe using a guy like James Justin. Or if you're on Vardy, now you have Vardy at forward. Maybe you plan for Albrighton in midfield, and then you take a defender, and now you have enough pieces to move around and make it work. Ceballos 5,800, really solid. I am always team Danny Ceballos. Just scrolling through the crap here in the middle. Oh, also, if you really want a YOLO goal too, how is his first name? Keenan Davis for Villa, 4,300. If you think Villa's going to score, why not take the striker for that cheap? John McGinn, 4,100 is going to be the guy I'm really going to look at right now. So if we don't see Horahane, let's say we see Grealish and McGinn splitting sets, 4,100 for a really nice player. I think that's another just kind of like a lock and load. Let me check comments. Ceballos has been kind of blah the last couple of weeks. Blah. Your hatred towards my guy will not be accepted. But tell me this: 10.4 floor versus Leicester, and 11.3 floor versus Norwich in 2 of the last 3. Is that blah? Watch him on the ball. Watch that guy's ability on the ball. I love Danny Ceballos. So you be quiet on your hatred to Danny Ceballos. I don't think there's anybody under him again. That was the guy I really need to point out. Maybe if you see Andrews Townsend starting at 4,100, I think a ton of people are going to Danny Smooth. Damn right. Also, shout out DK. Like, he still has his Real Betis jersey on. Like, he plays for Madrid. Plays. I don't know if you ever see the picture, but for like 2 seasons, and now he's on Arsenal, and he still shows up with the Real Betis jersey. It's just awesome. Trezeguet 3,600 if you want to punt, sure. Don't get points for flair, but you do catch Gator's eyes. You do catch my eyes, and I start coring you regardless. I always joke with subscribers. Sometimes the worst thing is my eye test. Like I get fixated to a guy by watching like how good he is, in the midfield, and it's like, oh wait, you don't get points for dominating the midfield. So at defender, Serge Aurier, you can play at 6,300, but I don't know if it's the slate that you're paying up. PVA might be popular at 5,900, splitting sets with Milojevic. Diego Rico, somebody asked about earlier. I think that's a really nice play as well at 5,600 on a set split. And that's something that you can do, because I'm going to bring up probably my favorite defender play, which is James Justin playing wingback now for Leicester. So here's kind of what he's been as a starter, right? 14.4 versus Watford, 7.5 versus Brighton, 10.1 versus Everton, 11.9 versus Palace, and 9.1 versus Arsenal. And that's with no goals, no assists. So that is all floor, 5,500. We've kind of gone over floors so far, and there's been no good floors. I mean, there has been some, but it's been struggling to find a floor, right? So 5,500 really works. And here's what you could really kind of be able to have some flexibility. If you plugged in like a Diego Rico and James Justin, then you plugged in Albrighton. Now you have 3 spots to mess around with some stuff. If Albrighton isn't in, or if Tielemans is in, or whatever you want to do, you have enough space now that you can kind of mix and match, which is one of the most important things that you can do when we have all these stagger starts. And just as like another note while I'm on video, if you have spots open in the midfield or forward or defender, doesn't matter where, and you fill your utility on the first game, you messed up. Like that utility needs to always be set for the last remaining guy, because what's going to happen, or what could happen, is you get to a perfect lineup that you want after some late swapping in the last game, and you have 5,000 left, but you only have or let's say this, you have 5,500 left after all your swapping, but you only have a midfield spot because you wasted your utility on a defender earlier, and you could have been able to put like James Justin in, or you could have put like a Yuri Tielemans, or you could have made the changes that you needed, but now you don't have the positional flexibility. So leave that utility always. 3 midfield stack first game. Well, there's a chance you use 2 right away, right? You might use Grealish and you might use McGinn. So then I guess if you're high on Luka, then your utility is gone. But I'm just more so saying, if you have the ability to not use up your utility, don't use up your utility. You need to have that flexibility for the late game. So there are a lot of defenders. This could be a 3 defender slate, but PVA 5,900, Rico 56, James Justin 5,500. I think you can probably skip over the Arsenal guys, Soares and Tierney, but they're okay. I just prefer the guys above them. Fuchs, I don't think we'll see. Maybe in a back 3, but I don't think we'll see him as like a wing back. So there is one interesting play I do want to bring up. So if Guibert is fit for Villa, 4,000 is underpriced for him. He's actually a really nice fullback that gets forward, scores a lot of DK with a lot of tackles, but also can cross, especially with Neil Taylor on the left. Neil Taylor is not an attacker, does not really want to get involved at all. So that gives the guy on the right a lot more freedom to bomb down, knowing that, there's kind of a firm back 3 there. So I like that a lot. If not, that Konsa and Goyo, who's a converted center back, is fine. I won't play him. And then the aforementioned Neil Taylor, 3,000. So that's kind of your pool of players. Goalie, I kind of did mention already that I think Giata will end up being kind of the chalk. You can play, these Arsenal versus Spurs guys. I think, I don't know. I don't. That game's hard for me. Guibert is good, yeah. I mean, former Ligue player. Goalie's tough, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I do know what to tell you. Play who fits. But yeah, I literally am going to adjust that. I'm going to make a lineup, and going to be keeping in mind the salary I need to keep for goalie. But then whoever fits is going to go in. I want to take care of everybody else. I have no idea on this game's like who I like. Again, I think that more people will end up gravitating towards Giata, but like you could easily make a decision, make a call to play Ramsdale here, knowing that it's Bournemouth's lives. They played well. If it's not a Vardy party, you're gone. Pickford hurt. Maybe they'll give. I was going to say something bad. I was going to say maybe they'll give Nick Pope a chance at the England game. It doesn't look that bad. I do think Nick Pope's a better goalkeeper than Jordan Pickford. Okay. Let me just look over here. If you guys got some questions, shoot it. If not, I'm going to get off of here and go take the dog for a walk before my kid screams and tells me it's time to wake him up. So shoot any questions that you have on the slate, players, anything like that. And I'm going to check to see how badly I messed up this morning as I'm looking to see if anybody has questions, because I think I messed up pretty bad. NATO, only 3 corners. Okay. Podence is a nice player. I saw that one nutmeg. Go Spurs. Yeah, man. I actually don't care. Double goal game, dude. So let's just talk about that showdown real quick. If you any showdown actually double goalie, is not going to be something that people are going to replicate. But I think when people see the likes of Aubameyang, they see the likes of Kane, Son in their lineup, nobody's going to be going goalie. I think goalie ownership on that game is going to be way, way low. Bill, you say regretting Neves' cap until he has a free kick outside the box and he nails it. Oh, and speaking of that free kick from, I can't say his name right, but Zaliam for Columbus. Oh my God. I was watching that going to bed. I was like, dear God, like the inside of the corner, like Triton's a terrible goalie. Like we nailed that one pretty well. That, I talked in the preview about how terrible the Cincinnati defense was. I gave all the stats on that, but there's nothing you can do about that free kick. Lord God, that was filthy. Regretting Neves' cap. Oh, I saw that. I capped Dean. Yeah. Don't worry, Alex. I have some Dean caps too. I have some Neves caps. I have a Jimenez cap, which seems worthless. I have a Johnny cap, which is just like the dirtiest thing. Dude, I saw the slate. I wanted to go back to bed, but whatever. This is why you don't play Everton versus Wolves. Since you were a soccer team in history. Yeah, I mean, God, I don't know. They spent some money too, and they brought in some players. I think when you get Locadia back, they're going to score some goals. The problem is they're just going to keep allowing goals. That defense looked dreadful. Jimmy, yeah. So, all right, I think I'm going to jump off here. Go take the dog, guys. Good luck today. For those of you that are members in Discord, I'll catch up with y'all later. See you.